There's a story behind the song. Good morning, everybody. It's time for Jim Brentar Music Series. I forget what number we're at, but that's okay. Songs that I've written over the years that haven't really seen the light of day, at least not as much as I wanted them to. If I look slightly different, I'm sitting in my ergonomic chair today because my back's been hurting. Anyway, where was I? Yes, the story behind the song. Some of the songs I've written are indeed based on true stories, and this one is a prime example. The first major vacation that Mary Kay and I took together was to Nashville, Tennessee. Neither of us had ever been there, and we were looking forward to it, and we did the Country Music Hall of Fame, and we took the backstage tour at the Ryman. At the Ryman Auditorium, the historic home of the Grand Ole Opry, you can pay extra money and get the backstage tour, and so have a tour guide that takes you all through the backstage areas, mentions who used this room over the years, who used that room over the years. And then, at the end of the tour, one of the perks of getting the backstage tour, you get your picture taken on stage with the sort of Martha White flower backdrop. And Mary Kay decided she wanted 2 pictures, not just one. And this was before digital photography had taken over everything, so it was an old-fashioned analog camera, and after each shot you had to wait a couple minutes while it developed. So Mary Kay wanted 2 photos, one of just me and one of the 2 of us together. And one other thing is that they had a guitar on stage to use as a prop, so you can take your picture holding a guitar. It's never safe to leave me alone with a guitar. As soon as they were done taking the first picture, waiting for it to develop, I checked the guitar and said, "Is this thing in tune?" Well, it was pretty close. I tuned up a little and I said, "Okay, come on up." And I started playing a song, and we got a little standing ovation from everyone in the tour group with us. So I can say that I played the Ryman Auditorium and got a standing ovation. Another thing we did on that first trip to Nashville, a place that was sort of legendary even then, but this was before the TV show Nashville, so a lot fewer people had heard about it. A place called the Bluebird Cafe. And you go in there and you find out, they actually give you a list of all the famous people who played there at one time or another, usually on their way up to superstardom. So I wrote in my little notebook that day these words: "I want to play at the Bluebird Cafe, and maybe I will be a big star someday." So I wrote a song about it. I already played the Ryman. I took the backstage tour. Had my picture taken on stage, holding a guitar. While that picture developed, I began to pick a tune. My wife and I sang "I Saw the Light" and got a standing ovation too. But I wanna play at the Bluebird Cafe. Maybe I will be a big star someday. I bust out on Lower Broadway by Ernest Tubbs record store. Also just across the street, my Tootsie's down 2 doors. Played some old Hank Williams, some Carter Family too. The tips became greater as it got later, and the folks had had a drink or two. But I wanna play at the Bluebird Cafe. Maybe I will be a big star someday. Wouldn't mind playing the Madison Square Garden. I wouldn't mind playing Carnegie Hall. Sure wouldn't mind playing Merle Fest. I wouldn't mind playing them all. Wouldn't mind playing in somebody's kitchen with just a few folks, I guess. There's a whole lot of places that I'd like to play, but there's one that tops all the rest. My wife and I once played the Friday night jamboree on the stage where Bill Monroe once stood in a barn in Rosine, Kentucky. People there enjoyed our music, got our pictures in the paper too. Got some memories to last a lifetime, some soup and cornbread too. But I wanna play at the Bluebird Cafe. Maybe I will be a big star someday. Yes, I wanna play at the Bluebird Cafe. Maybe I will be a big star someday. Ah, yes. Almost forgot, that was another thing we did on that first trip to Nashville, is we really did busk out on Lower Broadway. And that was fun. And the trip to Rosine, Kentucky was a different vacation, I think. But it's very important to remember that soup beans and bean soup are 2 different things. Important to know if you're traveling through Appalachia. Anyway, one other thing I'd like to point out about the song is that if you have my first CD, Songs in My Head, and not too many people do, but if you do, the version of Bluebird Cafe on that one is slightly different. That one had just verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. And after I became a more experienced songwriter, I decided to turn what had been the last verse into a bridge instead, to give the song a little bit more variety. So it was verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, which I think indeed works better. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We'll see y'all real soon. Bye-bye.